So hi everyone. I hope you guys have had an amazing day. We've come to the last session of the day for AI, and we're joined by Vineet Demir from IBM. He's an AI solutions architect at IBM System Development Lab. So it's a very exciting piece that he's got installed for us today. So I'll let you have the floor, Vineet, and I hope everyone enjoys.
Thanks, El. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, guys. So, yeah, El rightly mentioned, I'm Vineet and I'm working as an AI solution architect with IBM Systems Lab. So, today I'm gonna cover the topic which is related to GenAI role in mainframe. We'll talk about how to leverage GenAI and address the main problem of skills shortage, and then how to transform it to skills acceleration. Okay, so that would be the point here which I'll be covering today. So, okay, so yeah, so we all know like how mainframe is a strategic platform, right? And many of the enterprises, they are actually relying on mainframes. They are actually staffing up due to additional needs and additional modern capabilities which mainframes is bringing now to the world, right? So you can see the AI on Z is there, and then there are hybrid cloud things which are available on Z platform. There are other cryptography related enhancements which are up with the new hardware it is there, right? So all those things are forcing enterprises to rapidly staff up their on the mainframe side, right? So according to the Futurum Group, okay, so that's basically a report which is done by the Futurum Group. 91% of the employers respondents said that they are planning to hire talent and replace with new mainframe IT positions in next 1 to 2 years, right? So investing in and growing their mainframe IT team size and all. But however, you can see the finding experts in this area is a challenge. 79% of respondents cited their top mainframe related challenge is acquiring the right resources and skills to get the work done. Although, yes, we are in dire need of resources, dire need of skills, but it's pretty hard to get the adequate skills and knowledge from the new professionals coming in. So that was a level set slide. Now I'll talk about various challenges of onboarding a newer professional to the mainframe world, right? So many newer professionals, they can struggle to find relevant information, right? So often the information would be coming from various multiple sources, and it is pretty hard to remediate the problems to gain the understanding they need to remediate the problems. So the new users, the new professionals, they spend hours trying to find the right information. They also need help from experts or SMEs to interpret and resolve problems, consuming their time as well. And then um, for simple tasks, for performing manual tasks, they need to switch between various tools and screens, which might be most of the newer professionals will not be comfortable with, right? So that could be one of the challenge. And then finally, there may be a fear of causing errors, right? So if you are deploying something in production, obviously you will think about the consequences. So that's the risky things will come into your mind, and then it will impact your business operations. Having said that, Gartner recommends the use of GenAI infused tools to augment human capabilities in understanding the complex issues to reduce the skills gap. So basically, if you are augmented human skills with the GenAI capabilities, you can actually address the issue of lack of mainframe skills. And yes, we are aligned with that, with Gartner, what Gartner is saying. And for that, we have a solution offering, which is called as IBM Watson X Assistant for Z. It's basically a generative AI-based solution which can help you in transforming and simplifying the way Z users of all experience levels. Basically, it can be helpful for a newcomer, for a highly experienced person in the Z world, and it can also help various persona levels, right? So it can help an operator, a system programmer, a developer. Any persona related to mainframe, this GenAI solution is the answer for you. So what it brings to the table now? So it's a GenAI based solution. First thing it brings is a conversational AI support, basically wherein you can ask some questions related to the Z world and you will get an answer for that, right? So that's basically a simple conversational AI stuff. Plus, along with the conversational AI, we have also integrated the automation, already existing automations, right? So suppose you have your Ansible skills, you have your ZOSMF APIs, wherein you can trigger your Rex, your JCLs, etc. All those you can integrate, you can stitch with your assistant. You type a question, you get a response, step-by-step detailed response for that. And you can also trigger an automation from the assistant itself. I'll give you a demo for that, how it works and all. So basically this is the power, right? So conversational AI plus integrated automation. So the major points here about this offering is conversational AI, as I mentioned, pre-built and custom automations. Okay, so we with this offering, we are providing you a low-code approach to confidently build and deploy routine and complex tasks with pre-built and custom skills. So you have a pre-built skills. We along with the product, you will get the pre-built custom skills as well, which you can consume and start working with your automations. And also you will have access to configurable assistants. So based on the personas, based on the business processes, job roles, you can actually personalize your assistants. You can have a separate assistant from a sys programming team. You can have a different assistant for a Kicks team, for a MQ team, right? So depending upon the documentation or the processes involved, you can segregate the configure the different assistants. So here are some of the highlights, like what are some of the advantages of using Watson X Assistant for Z. Key benefits are reducing the learning curve. You can ask anything, ask anytime, as many times as you need. Increase productivity, right? So having automation infused in the conversation allows you to do your common and complex tasks to be performed in the right way. In the right way means like every time you have, it will be done in the correct way, reducing errors. What it does, it will help in increasing the productivity as well. And again, if you are working with a set of automations, it will increase your efficiency. It will save hours looking for answers and completing manual tasks without SME intervention, right? And then finally, since this is an all automated process, you will be able to reduce errors as well. Okay, so I talked about few of the advantages. Now, what is the differentiator, what this solution brings to the table, right? So how is IBM Watson X Assistant for Z different? So basically, first of all, Watson X Assistant for Z is trained on IBM Z domain-specific information, right? So you have multiple other generative AI solutions available in the market, but this solution has been trained on IBM Z domain-specific information. So what you are getting, the responses you will be getting from the assistant will be curated, and you are likely to get accurate, better responses compared to any other offering in the market, right? So for that, the first differentiator obviously is the generative AI responses for IBM Z. It provides accurate and current information that leverages all IBM Z domain specific knowledge. So domain specific knowledge means like we have and the last point you are seeing here, it leverages a RAG to ground responses with both IBM Z and your enterprise knowledge. So what we have done, like in this offering, along with the LLM is the Granite 3B, 38B Instruct LLM, which is a new latest one. Along with the LLM, we have provided a RAG pipeline as well. So what does that RAG does? It keeps you honest, right? So if the LLM or the GenAI or the assistant doesn't know the answer, it will not guess, right? So in addition to that, it is frequently updated. The RAG is frequently updated to ensure clients have the latest information available. So if you ask me what is a RAG, basically RAG is a technique that enhances the quality of any AI-based LLM or AI responses by supplementing the LLMs with external knowledge base. The external knowledge base in this case, in for this offering, what we have is basically a set of red books or the IBM knowledge base, right? So many things, documentation, relevant documentation, which has been added, supplemented to the LLM, so that we can actually mine the vast repositories of IBM documentation to get the perfect response for your Z-specific answer. So as I mentioned, so drag is one thing. LLM. So LLM, what we are using is Granite 3, which is the latest one. This LLM, IBM provided LLM is meeting the stringent, is gone through the stringent governance and compliance as well. So basically, IBM, the data which IBM has used for training of this LLM is also gone through several secure engineering processes, and then there has been we will like IBM eliminates all the bias, and also basically the trusted data which can be consumed by enterprise, right? So that also is a differentiator from any other thing in the market, right? So that's the thing. Okay, so basically, one more thing about it is like it has been trained on 12 trillion tokens. 12 trillion tokens is huge, huge LLM, right? And this all includes, it also includes the IBM Z specific content. So that's the first thing, generative AI responses. The second main differentiator about this product is integrated automation. As I told earlier, along with the GenAI capabilities, you have the capabilities to integrate uh, your existing automations, right? So basically, if you ask maybe questions raised during a chat can trigger automations based on prompts and offer the user to an option to perform an automated task. For example, if you are asking a question like renew a certificate, SSL certificate for me, the assistant will give you a detailed step-by-step response. It will also give you the links from where the content is being displayed to you. And if there is an existing automation to renew the SSL certificate, it will throw you a prompt that would you like me to take care of the renewal of the certificate? If you say yes, behind the scenes, an automation will trigger. It will um, do the SSL renewal and maybe through a JCL or a REX, whatever it is. And then the results will be displayed back to the assistant. So that's about the integrated automation part, wherein you can use your existing ZOS user security settings. So everything is controlled by existing ZOS user settings itself, right? So the assistant will discover the automation during the conversation, and it will give you an option to execute. So along with the offering, we also provide the pre-built skills, which are like basic common GOS tasks and AI ops tasks, which can be consumed and integrated with the assistant itself. The third thing here is the configurable assistant, right? So as I mentioned earlier, like you can configure assistant, customize it by persona, by team, or by experience. Example, separate assistant for a Kicks team, separate for DB2 team, MQ team, etc. Right? So you can have different assistant setup for different teams. And we also give you an option to integrate your own documentation. So your team's standard documentation can be infused, can be appended to the RAG, can be added to the RAG, and you will get a standard set of responses for your processes, for your from your documentation, right? For your, so that's why we are saying it is a configurable assistant. For application development teams, you can add your standard set of application code, standard set of error messages, etc. So those things can be done and achieved through the assistant. So maybe I'll take a pause here, and if anyone has a question, please, I'll just see on the chat. Okay, if not, I'll just move forward. So I have a few examples of how you can personalize your assistant, right? So you can have a new to Z assistant for an early tenure professional. You can have an operations assistant for an early tenure IT operations, for a system programmer as well. And then you can have an application assistant, which will be relevant for the developers, right? So we can have up to 30 assistants, which can be created personalized by persona, department, function, project, etc., etc. Right? So we'll go through these sample use cases or personas one by one. So the first one here is a new to Z professional. IBM Steve in this case is a IBM Z professional who needs curated responses to their IBM Z questions. So in today's experience, he is unable to find the right documentation in support of a requested task, and he's also unsure who to ask for help. Right. So he has to get hold of some SME to get his questions answered, right? So it could take him hours to research and find the right answer. So with this assistant, suppose he logs into the assistant, which obviously has been created by a subject matter expert. The relevant documentation has already been fed into the assistant, and Steve logs into that and he asks a question like, uh, does an alter table in DB2 always need a reorg, right? It's a simple basic question relevant to the DB2 world, right? So for that, the assistant will give a detailed answer. No, an alter table in DB2 does not always need a reorg, and the complete explanation for that, right? So basically, a response to his question he's getting. Also, uh, you can also integrate an existing automation, right? So wherein if you are asking a question, Steve could also trigger an automation. For example, the assistant in the next prompt, it can ask, do you want me to reorg any table, right? So you can provide the table name, table space name, DB name as input, and accordingly a reorg job will be, it is already there in the part of the automation that would be triggered, and the reorg would be done, and you will be seeing the response back in the assistant, right? So all those capabilities will be there. You can customize as you want. The opportunities or possibilities are endless here, right? So you can utilize your existing automations, you can create your new skills as well. So skills and automations are used interchangeably here, because for assistant we are calling it as skills, but basically it means as the automations, right? So that's the stuff here. So now Steve is happy, he can go to one place to get answers to any questions on demand. So this is basically for a new user, how he can interact with the assistant. Few sample use cases which applies to new to Z or new to team persona. Onboarding, wherein a new user can spend hours trying to find information about the company, the team, policies and procedures, etc. Q&A on IBM Z specific software products and offerings, basically anything related to KICS, DB2, IMS, he can get answers through the assistant. Outage error notification, right? So business teams can spend hours trying to find the problem source during a critical outage, which can result in huge loss of profit and image for the enterprise, right? So all those are sample use cases. You can also open a ServiceNow ticket. Basically, we can integrate any OpenAI compliant software or product with this assistant. So you can integrate with your ServiceNow. You can integrate with your teams. There are so many multiple other options which you can integrate, and you can see the set of tickets directly being created through this assistant itself. And okay, so this is different persona here for a system programmer, early tenure system programmer. Chris, in this case, she wants to pinpoint performance issues on a ZOS system. So in today's experience, she's working with many different monitoring tools. You have so many Omega Mons, right? So we have Omega Mons for ZOS, for DB2, for IMS, for MQ, right? So many Omega Mons, so many monitoring tools to look into. So how to connect to multiple different systems and all, and for this, all these tooling and all, you need to rely heavily on experts as of now. But in this case, if you have the assistant, Chris will, suppose she wanted to ask, show me the status of my LPARs. Assistant will give you the display of all the three LPARs which are available, sys1, sys2, sys3. And again, it is asking you a prompt, do you want to see more details for a selected LPAR? So behind the scenes, whenever we are issuing any um, prompt here, like status of my LPARs and all, behind the scenes, there is a Z AI ops skill or automation or integration, which is running. Basically, what it does, it will perform a OmegaMon query in the background. It will check for all the LPARs, and it will send the response back to the assistant here. So there is a integration layer, which is in form of a ZI ops skill, which actually triggers a OmegaMon query behind the scenes. So that's how it works. So in this case, now, if Chris wants to see details of sys1, you will see the LPAR details, the CPU percentage, MSU capacity, right? And you can also see the top CPU consumers. If you want to see that, the assistant lists down the top 5 CPU consumers for sys1. So basically, you do not have to go and look into different Omega mons. Everything on the same screen, single screen. No need to connect to various subsystems and LPARs. You can get responses being on single assistant as well, right? So that's the persona. For we have various other use cases applying to the IT operators and system programmers as well, like high CPU usage through Slack integration, right? And operational insights. So as I told you, we can also integrate with Slack. We can also integrate it with ServiceNow. We can also integrate with Teams. So suppose there is a high CPU usage, you can get an alert directly to your Slack or to your Teams, wherein you can see that this is the error message. The assistant itself, you can customize it to open a ServiceNow ticket as well. So everything could be customized, opening a ticket, actioning upon that ticket, from the previous knowledge base and all. It can assistant can take give you prompt that it was the error which was there in the past as well, and this is what we have done to rectify it, right? So all those things could be customized, as I said. And then there are other use cases like SSL certificate refresh, troubleshoot IMS slowdown, incident analysis, subsystems patching, even your subsystem patching, like for your DB2 or for your ZOS, you can patch starting from opening a service ticket, a change request, kicking off the DB2 patch, and closing the ticket when complete. So everything can be automated through the assistant itself. The third persona here, which is for the developers, for Zach in this case, who is a developer, wherein in today's world, he has to, his internal applications have a ton of error messages, codes and all. We all know application standards. So we have so many standards and so many documents available for each applications, and tons and hundreds and thousands of error messages, codes and all. So if it takes, in this case, Zach is telling it takes 2 days to get a response, putting dev on hold until I understand the problem so I can fix it. So that's the use case here. Zach is struggling to uh, get through all the documentation and find a specific answer to a abandoned code, right? So as of now, what we can do in this case for a developer or application persona, we can ingest a specific documentation, right? Documentation about the application, wherein it can have all your message codes. It can have the meaning of the code, what we have done in that application. All that can be ingested and put that into the RAG itself. Once that has been done, Zach can ask a question. The customer application is abandoned with this error. What this does this internal application error means? Right. So assistant will give you a response directly. It will check the content from the RAG, and it will give you a response that this is a division by zero error encountered in arithmetic operation. So then we can ask again, how can I avoid this? And then you can see a response back from the assistant. So uh, now that we can ingest our team's documentation, Zach is able to go to one place to get answers for all his questions, right? So everything for all the applications, you can have a standardized screen wherein you can get your responses clarified. We can have various other use cases which apply to developers for learning development processes, understanding the code standards, troubleshooting application environment, and understanding the access control, right? RECF and SAF related issues and all that can be done through various assistants, right? So I'll do a quick demo and then maybe I'll pause to take a few questions from your side. So let me do that now. Okay, so give me a second, please. Just bringing up the screen here. Okay, I hope you can see my screen now, right?
Yeah, we're all good.
Okay, sure. Thanks, Al. So this one here is a demo wherein Chris, who is new to her role as a system programmer, and she's eager to become more autonomous and proficient in her role. So in this demo, we'll see that how this assistant, Watsonix assistant for Z, will support her like a mentor, and so it helps in understanding and resolving a warning related to flooding messages issue in IMS, right? So that's what we are trying to do. Um, so in here, if you can see my screen, like this is how the assistant could be customized. This is the UI for that. And then Chris asked this question: how does DFS 1988W relate to message flood condition is IMS OTMA, right? So this is the question. She has seen some error messages related to DFS 1988. He's asking this question to directly to the assistant. So assistant will give you the response. It says that DFS 1988W is a message issued by IMS when the number of messages in the IMS system reaches 80% of the maximum number defined, right? So along with that, assistant also give you links of the sources where the information has been pulled from, right? So that's what we say that we like for a user, it becomes transparent, right? So you will be able to gain trust on what the response is being given by the assistant, right? So that's how like you can gain more trust on the assistant. It gives you the direct sources from where the responses are being fetched. And then you can see you can ask the follow-up questions here. We have an IMS application slowdown. The messages are queued up. And how can I display the regions for my application where my application is executing in, right? So there is a follow-up question for the IMS flooding messages issue. So assistant is giving you the response. It says that you can issue the IMS display act region command. And then for that, the assistant is telling that I have already found a skill for this one, right? So um, skill means there is a predefined pre-configured automation which is already there for issuing these kind of commands. So we can directly click on the invoke skill button, and then herein the assistant will ask more details like the IMS name and the Plex name. Once we have provided the input, we can click on apply, and then you will see the response. The program bz get num is running in only one dependent region, right? So that is the response we are getting from the assistant. So now we have a follow-up question. How can I start the additional dependent regions to resolve my flooding issue, right? Assistant will give you a step-by-step detailed response to start additional dependent regions. You would need to issue the start region command. And again, the assistant is telling, I have found a skill. You want to invoke it. I'll say, yes, invoke that skill. You provide all the details in here, click on apply, and then the assistant does its job. It triggers the automation, the JCL, which is there to create the additional IMS region. And it says uh, the JCL is submitted, one dependent region has been added. The program BusyGetNum is now running in two dependent regions, right? So that's one of the thing, like quick demo on IMS slowdown, how it works. Quick, maybe a couple of minutes I'll take to give one more demo, one more use case related to AI ops, wherein you can basically, we are leveraging the power of AI. We are leveraging AI for monitoring our system's health, for monitoring our infrastructure, monitoring our operations, right? So that is called as AI ops, and the AI ops skills we have integrated now directly with the assistant. So for example, here, this is the assistant, and in here we are asking a question, show all L parts, right? So in this case, the assistant will give you a response. It will say that these are all the L parts. L part name is this, and every CPU percentage, all the syspleg name details and all, everything is shown to you, right? So in here we are actually invoking a skill, a GA AI ops skill, wherein the response is coming through Omega Mon queries, right? So we are asking different questions to the assistant. We are asking what is a zero sysplex. So it will, the assistant, if there are any existing skill, it will give you prompts. We have chosen none of the above. Just give me a response for this question. What is a ZOS sysplex? So then the assistant gives you a detailed response. So sysplex is a set of ZOS systems, etc., right? So detailed response for your question. And then it asks, do you want to see details of a specific LPAR? So we'll say yes. If we want to see any specific LPAR, we copy the LPAR name. Obviously, it has displayed the LPAR name in the previous screen. We copy the name and then we give yes here, and we'll paste the specific LPAR name as an input to the assistant. And voila, you will see all the details of the particular LPAR which we have given, the NQ wait time, the average CPU consumption, IO rate, the max NQ wait time, etc. All the details in one place, coming out of, pulled out of frame from various Omega Mons, from various AIOps solutions, all on one screen, right? So then we are asking, do you want to list the top CPU consumers of this LPAR? Okay, so in this case, I've selected no as an option, but if you select, we can now ask some different questions. So suppose we are asking to DB2 now, right? So DB2 related questions. Show my DB2 instances. It will show you various subsystems wherein DB2 is running. And it says it's running in healthy state for two different DB2 subsystems here, right? So um, basically, this would be coming from DB2 Omega Mon, right? So, and then you are giving a DB2 subsystem name here, and we are asking about the specific details for that DB2 subsystem, right? So EDM pages, buffer pool details, thread counts, etc., could be found and displayed to your fingertips, right? So then we are asking to list buffer pools for this DB2, and we are giving inputting the DB2 subsystem details here. We'll be seeing the buffer pool details, the detailed buffer pool details here. BPK at 0%, random 50%, right? So all those details. So you can think like how easy it could become for any system programmer, whether it is DB2 programmer, DB2 system programmer, or a zero system programmer. You can get customized answers for your questions all on a single screen, right? now we are asking various questions related to show situations, events for DB2. So it says no DB2 situation events found. We can ask for any other subsystem. Maybe we can ask, suppose for MQ in this case, and it will give you, the assistant will give you a response that um, it will check, go to OmegaMon, give you the situational incidents, events for MQ here, right? So this is how we can uh, work with various subsystems, integrate with various subsystems, and it could be leveraged, it could be useful for various personas, right? So I'll take a pause here. I have few minutes left, and then maybe I'll take some questions if there are any.
Yeah, please put your questions in the chat, or I'll unmute everyone if everyone feels well, I'll ask you guys to unmute yourselves. But if you guys have any questions right now, it'd be brilliant. Give it a minute.
Okay.
Okay.
So then in that case, I'll move forward. And so last part of my presentation, just give me a second here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is basically a case study from the IBM CIO office, wherein we implemented this solution in the CIO office, and within just 4 weeks, we were able to implement 3 high-value use cases. I'll just go through that. So CIO office is was the client zero for watsonx Assistant implementation. We identified various use cases. In that, we have broadly chosen the three major ones. The first one was patching DB2 subsystems. Second one was ServiceNow integration, incident analysis. And the third one was IBM Z Q&A support for operations staff. So obviously the solution, the key goal was, what we are trying to do was basically to achieve, to leverage watsonx Assistant to reduce the skills required to run the IBM Z environment within the CIO office, right? And so if I tell you few things, like for example, first use case was patching DB2 subsystems, right? So as of now, how we do DB2 patching? We have to open a change request, and we have to obviously it will go and through various multiple approvals and all. And then if you have an automation setup for running your DB2 uh, upgrade, right? So patches and all, you can do that. You can trigger that automation, and suppose if backout is required, you will do the backout and close the change, right? So that's the scenario how we do it, right? Now, if leveraging assistant, the watsonx Assistant, everything could be automated, right? So you can have integration directly with the ServiceNow, wherein assistant, you can just need to tell that we need to run a DB2 patching, and please open a ServiceNow change. It will open a ServiceNow change, and then you can also trigger a relevant Ansible skill to trigger your DB2 jobs, which will do the patching, right? So it could be through a ZOSMF workflow as well. And then once the change has been opened, the DB2 jobs have been run. The If there is a requirement of failure, it can take care of that. The Ansible could take care of that, and then automatically closure of the change as well. So everything could be automated for DB2 patching. With that, as of now, we were able to reduce the hours by 50%, and we are targeting for 75% reduction by this year. And I'll tell you how we'll be able to do that. And the second thing was decrease in time for incident resolution, right? So ServiceNow incident analysis and all. So obviously we are doing various kind of analysis from the past incidents for similar issues and resolutions, right? Now, if we are ingesting our ServiceNow knowledge base to the assistant, Then the assistant itself will analyze the problem and present the suggested course of action. With that, we were able to reduce 10% time for the incident resolution. The last one here is basically the IBM Z Q&A support for operations staff. Um, Looking into multiple red books, documentation of various products and all, as of now, to directly answer, getting your answers, questions answered from the assistant. So that drastically reduced the time. So we were able to save 8% of the time in optimizing SME usage as well, right? So future goal is on the right hand side, 75%, 30%, and 30%. So we are actually thinking about agentic AI, right? So we will be bringing something called as AI agents. We will be integrating it with the assistants. It will further help us in reducing the time and automating the things and taking these automations to the next level, right? So that is what we are targeting for this year. So with that, obviously, change the way you engage and interact with IBM Z using IBM Z Watson X Assistant for Z. You can engage in a context-aware conversation, find curated answers, trigger and perform tasks with Guardian Assistant and automation, and successfully complete your task autonomously, right? So that's about the offering. And I had few appendix slides I thought I will be able to cover in the due course of time. So this is a basic slide about RAG, which explains like how RAG would help in enhancing the quality of your AI responses, right? So that was about RAG. And then this is a brief snippet of the architecture, how this Watson X for Assistant for Z would look like, right? So it is basically hosted on, it could be hosted on x86 or S390X. And we need a Red Hat OpenShift cluster to install the Watson X Orchestrate, which is the assistant is based on this orchestrate layer, right? So we have to install it on the Red Hat OpenShift. And then we leverage two LLMs. One is for conversational search, one is for conversational skill. Search is for basically getting your Q&A answers and all, and skill is for automating, triggering your automations, right? So two LLMs are being called here. And then we have something called as skills, which is part of the Z extension and the Watson X Assistant for Z extension. The skills actually triggers the various automations. Those automations could be Ansible based or your ZOSMF based automations, right? And then we have the ZRAG or bring your own data integration as well. The RAG, as I explained, wherein we have IBM actually has given a set of red books product documentation for multiple products. If you need to ingest your own documentation, you can do that as well to get your personalized answers for your queries, right? So with that, I would just end it here. So this is the future. We are talking about integrating with AI agents, wherein the AI agents will act as an autonomous systems that could perceive its environment. It will make decisions and take actions independently to achieve a certain goal, right? So AI agents are basically goal driven and they are not just reactive, they could be proactive as well. They can work behind the scenes, basically without any human intervention. So that is what we are trying to achieve. IBM Watson X Assistant would be the base product wherein all these integrations with AI agents would be possible for the future. So that's it from my side. Any questions from you guys?
Any questions, people? Just check in the chat. I guess not. I mean, that was a brilliant presentation. I really enjoyed that. It's very
Thank you. Thanks, Sir.
to see the direction everything's going right now. So I really appreciate that. And I mean, no questions. I think you've explained it perfectly then.
Let's hope so. Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
No, that's great. So thank you everyone for joining the last session for the AA track today. Bernard, thank you so much for coming along this year for today,
Yeah.
Very
Thanks everyone. Thanks, El. Yeah. I hope you liked my presentation. Yeah.
perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, everyone. I hope you have a lovely rest of the evening, day, morning, wherever you guys are calling out of. But yeah, thank you ever so much, everyone. I'm going to end the call now.
Thank you. Bye everyone.
Bye.